boy. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Mohammed Shilon coming to you from the United States. I'm presenting today me and my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot. And so we welcome today on July 13, 2025, on Sunday, of course. And we look forward for get a serious engagement tonight because we'll get to trending topics we normally can deal with, what we hope we're going to be interested in and go join with for discuss. So couple of things I want to bring to our attention. We now get the series of numbers them anymore. So what you will get now the numbers then we go. What you will get now the WhatsApp number. We hope that we're going to go with the WhatsApp number because the other numbers are not working as they should. So we're still working on them. When they do, we'll go make una know. Okay. With that said, we are hoping that we will get a good presentation today, as always, hopefully. Now, also, there were some thunderstorm where affect we equipment them. Now we control room. So don't be surprised if we get some technical interruption. We hope that we'll not go understand and not get any problem with that. Okay? And so with that said, let me pass on over to my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot.
Well, Fambulem, in a good evening, in a good morning, or good afternoon, wherever I also did. Bodesi awana fumamni mpiari, koto nene njarama. Hemo, wali benda. We can't join us today again. We can start this program review. And this week, we want to continue because we say continuation of waiting we not do last week. I will tell in all plenty thank you when I can contribute. We not say not to all my able phone, but we not say the one that we there on we online program them, like WhatsApp, like YouTube, like Facebook, and they even converse among ourselves. So this time I want to learn all send we as much as good opinion as possible. So what you get for in today? As we say, we'll continue from Musa Obinderi last time. We'll talk about this land issue. For today and this week, we start with 1-2 glad for the president, where they can say the man of the talk. Then say, if you see Ariobo Allah, which man in a tongue. And the president, I know call Ariobo, but he don't talk something we make we all one year what he say. Usa stand on this issue where they affect all this land issue. So when talk about this president, what did the president say? And he concludes say, not also for one country. So the man way on top, if he say not also for one country, we want for let he tell we how for one country, but he say he go get for tell we when don't contact people them. When them people are them, now they all involved with camp on this land issue. Because land very important. We need land for plants. We need land for industrial development. We need land for housing. We need land for so many things. And we ownership of land is vary. So we'll talk about that. We'll show in a video where the president come. Though we'll also show that video because this land minister is very unique, Dr. Tuat Tennessee. Neither the minister we don't take pass all man. Because from 2018 to now, he never come out in position. We talk about lawmakers them, because then say being make a ruling on land recently. And then say now one of the people that the president want to talk to. They'll talk about them but law they will get for deal with land. And the Boku agency them. Not for so we short of law them. We will for explain all that. Then at the first part. Then the second part, we will deal with this electoral management issue. The famous tripartite. And recently something away the money of parliamentarians. Then. So now then we'll get for it now. So for start the ball rolling, let the technical team play this first video. Now you're waiting the passy. Then my senior colleague will kick off with what we hear from the part.
The demand them. We get forget meeting. We don't get meeting before, but we get forget another meeting. The Ministry of Lands get for did it. Because when I just decide the land fiti fata, I'm going to have a meeting with the Ministry of Lands. Then it demand them. Everybody with some parliamentary and the way they sell land. And even then judges the way they involve in the wrong way. We will respect the independence of the judges, but we will have to call them to order. This is not done. We cannot run a country like this.
Well, Fambule, I don't hear the past say we cannot run a country like this. So over to you, Mr. Shillon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. But to start with, I commend the president for saying what he just said. It's highly, highly refreshing for Yeri, a president, take such a stance, take a position like that, because land like electricity has been a problem in that country there for a while. But unlike electricity, the land business is a deliberate act by those in the position of authority who connive with other individuals, bad actors, so to say, for deprive people of their property, primarily land, and for take undue advantage of the system of the law which exists, the thing of land ownership, but the undue advantage is being taken because of the lack of enforcement in the country. And like the president said, not to me say, the president himself acknowledges that, and it's, I give him high marks for referring to the specific set of people who in concert, meaning together, but not by knowing each other like the law of conspiracy. You can conspire with someone for commit a crime without actually having met the person, but if an intention are the same, for achieve the same purpose, to commit the same act, or wrong act, then you could be guilty of conspiracy. So what is happening now? The president mentioned hitman them. The president mentioned judges them. I mean, it's a shame, because judges should not be involved in things like this. But if the president says so, there has to be some truth to it. The hitman them, that doesn't come as a surprise. And one of the reason why I don't think is that surprising, hitman generally, and these are all some of the restructuring we need for doing at the country, because the hitman them, now the first line of people that we meet in terms of land purchasing. So, but it's about time maybe the position of hitman should be some position where you go get a stipend or forget some meaning just by being not just being called hitman. May then get some kind of authority and with some kind of financial benefits, forgo with it. So the position will get a meaning. But the laws are there, and we get efficient legal system. We inherit them from the British Commonwealth. We know what in land law is. We know the laws of real estate, or we're supposed to. You know, waiting the kill we now in our country. Now this persistent pattern of diluting or perverting or misdirecting the law for the benefit of a few. And I can always tell people and say laws are not passed for benefit a few. Laws are passed for benefit the general population, in fact for benefit everybody. So when we see a law being passed or law not being enforced, would they allow the powerful in a position of authority for unduly take advantage of the poor people? Then we probably get land, but they're not wealthy. The system cannot sustain it. At some point, the system will fall by its own weight. And so I'm glad the president is aware of this, or maybe has been aware of it for quite a while, but maybe he's still fit now for talk about it. And I can tell by the president's disposition, he's somewhat disgusted about what's happening, and he said we cannot run the country like that. I mean, for once, this is so refreshing. It's so refreshing. I mean, I don't know if there was a mark I could give the president over 100, I will give him, because this is no way for running a country, and this all the effect we talk about foreign investment, we talk about this, we talk about that. I mean, foreign people, they need to know if they can't put the money in the country, their money are protected. Nobody they work all in life or inherit a large amount of money, they can't alone, not get any protection from the law. So these are some of the things that we some of we advocate. The land issue, and this land issue for a while, we not get no reason we will not be able to take care. And some of the things they always say as a common practice. And there are certain things I still have never been able to understand. I never will. What then can say somebody does sell somebody in land. Unless you're an agent for that somebody, they will get the land. You not get the ability by law for sell a land wanted to you own. The laws are clear in Sierra Leone. So I never could understand what they can say, oh, but they don't sell you land. Well, how you go sell me land and me get the land? And I know I will say the land is sold. And I don't get a lawyer who they act on my behalf. I don't get an agent who they act on my behalf. But it happens in Sierra Leone, and it seems to make sense. To me, it makes no sense. Real estate, unlike other things, the law make a distinction between personal property and real property. Okay? Personal property, now anything we're not to land or a house. That, for example, if you get a ring, a watch, a clock, or anything, now all that in a personal property. So somebody might thief them from you and go sell them, and then to the person who buy them, in law they refer to that person there. If he no say not to you get them with the sell them to them, then he buy them in good faith, saying that you get them. Let we use a watch or a cell phone, for example. You can't sell the cell phone to me. It's an example of personal property at the time for making a know for the distinction. If you can't sell the cell phone to me, and you say you will write me a receipt, you tell me convincingly saying that you get them, you tell me why you want to get rid of them, and me in law will say in good faith, decide say, okay, I bargain with you, you sell them to me, I buy them. Then it turned out that phone the way I don't buy from you, not till you get them, or somebody else get them. Now, the law go further and say, if it is clear by the evidence that I purchased that phone day from you in good faith, that would be a defense, because the law refers to you as a good faith purchaser. You purchase in good faith. That's the reason why, begin no idea for saying not to thief, you thief them. So, no matter of convincible real estate, is the law operates differently. The law operates differently because you get real estate get more requirements than that. If I sell you a piece of land, I for be the real owner in interest, I for be able for sell you that land day by conveying proper title. So there has to be a deed. This is not for just to protect people them. So if my brother grab what say because they America get land na freedom, he go tell Mr. X say na him get him is seller, a so-called seller. Then me come up one day, I go to Milan, Mr. X tell me, say, what you doing at this land? I say, let me get it. He say, oh no, I better buy it. I say, from who that? You can't buy it from anybody else past me. You say, well, I pay for them. The person who sell them to you, when not to get them, he not sell them, technically he not selling to you because it just defraud you because not to get them, so you not pass proper title. So by law, it should not even be an issue. So some of the land laws, then land disputes, they already take place in a court. These are laws, these are disputes that could be decided in a matter of hours, not days, not weeks, not years, not months. In a matter of hours, come with your title. Then lawyers are obligated to do what you call title search. So, and then we get for making in such a way that people can be able. But this is all everything that gets out of hand, only because the way the which man left the law for we, instead of we improve them, we decide for dilute them because the one in a position of power, one get land, they want own land where they not pay for, So this has to stop, and I agree with the president because they affect progress, they affect development, And we don't see plenty instances where ordinary people, they say they come at the land, they meet police, I'm a man at the land, they are a man and the police and they drive them. So we get for make a comprehensive law in our country. I'm a man not forget no role for play, and civil matters of that kind. Police not forget any business unless they try for enforce a judgment. Unless we bring this thing to reality and start behaving in a way, it will always be a problem. Because you know for go now you land, somebody chase you out of the land if now you get it. And if now you get it, somebody unduly chase you out of the land, you forget what you call a remedy at law. There should be a remedy by which that person that will chase you out of your real property, might be guilty of communicating a threat or all kind of a criminal act. If just to do that for scare you off in land. There are lots and lots of things, but because the problem is, would they see what's wrong? Would they try for restructure the situation so we could prevent then bad outcome? But then you get people and where they go, where they take the whole issue the other way. So for right now, I would just say I commend the president. I agree with the president, but then you say the devil is in the detail. Being a man, the president talking to a man not gonna make one bit of difference. I can say that a man that for just give them the legal advice and the legal advice and instructions. Then president sitting there listening to the president might help, but I don't think so. Judges should be told, they should know that if to whatever degree they may be involved in conniving with fraudulent activities, they should pay a professional penalty because it's ridiculous. We have to be able to rely on them. And so are lawyers as well. When knowingly they draw fraudulent documents for deprive other people of them. I think we have to begin to enforce with civil laws them to an extent of people being able to sue other people. For right now, I think I've said too much at one time. So let me go back to Mr. Amengot for just take over and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I think say for simplifying for people them, because not to all man know who than a headman and how headman come inside land business. He go find for the benefit of the people them, because this is now one of the people the way the president say he want talk to. He say me not talk to them before. He want talk to them. Edman the relationship and land business is mostly within the western and mostly within the western region. So in the western region, you get the Freetown urban and Freetown rural. Edman them now the rural area where now they call ward C. Now they then get business for land. And for that, the people that will not understand, let's show them the geography of Freetown. If you take the western urban area, as I can say, the boundary with the rural area, na Oru Bridge. Then at the bridge where they meet before Jue. So from that one, they come up, take Alberton, na western urban. Then on the other side, on the west, na Levuma, just before Godrich. Then, if you go to the hill, towards Regent's Park, now just after Hill Station. Any part after Hill Station, that junction, IMAT junction, after that, now Western Rural. If you check on the other side, like say you go Furbe College, then if you go to Leicester, Gloucester, whole area, before you reach Furbe College, now they rural. So Usa Edman and Kainsa. Edman them, according to the law, they are elected because they get Edman election. Because the Edman there, you go find and then village them. Especially in the western part of Peninsula. And they're very active. And then place them in a very prime land, a touristic land. Like then York, Sussex, Hamilton, Bigwater, John Bay, Toke. So they Edman and they're elected and are elected and they pay them now. So if you want to go buy land, now any of them place them, the first person where they go meet, now the Edman, because the Edman, he come from a prominent family we don't in that area there. So it's 4 or 5 generations. So he know all the family, but then also get communal land. And then communal land there, now that land there Edman will give you on the basis that it's available for do transaction. So the Edman there, that makes the president say one see them. Because the Edman there, they're responsible for give people there. Because when Edman, you identify your land through an Edman, the responsibility for be on you for go register an Ministry of Lands. So up till now, we not get digitalization of land. We can do survey. This is now a modern world. We can do GPS survey. Okay, we'll get plotting. All that day for day. Now they the Ministry of Lands can say. So if you look at the law under the Land Commission Act 2022, the Village Area Land Committee, when they Edman and did it, now they get for conduct a survey, map, and register land at village level. So all that information they for pass on to the Ministry of Lands. So that if you go get that land there from that village Edman, you get to go certify them. So that is where the problem comes. But in a way they listen to it. Sometimes I get better suggestion for suggest things them where and the lands people there, where they all in inside one room. Now how then 2 people there will work together. The village Edman there and the Ministry of Lands as to demarcation of land, registration of land, ownership of land, power to sell land, and power to register land. So now one person. But I'll go the next time because Not to demand no more, he mentioned. The president also mentioned the judges and the judiciary. And they are affected. But one showing our old video, this is not a new video, the old video, because when it affect the judges there and see their own action where they take. Right? Apart from the fact say that then they decide and delay them land case here, no see where the team knock them that they don't do what, waiting and do. With this same minister, we don't do the all the years and they can talk about the position of the judges now.
This land here, the judiciary of Sierra Leone, they get up. This entire Ballot part, yeah, and then get this land here, so me not the minister of lands, yeah. If any other person be don't give una, they don't give una illegally. All of una know that, yeah. The chief justice then also can't look in land. They call me for that, I come here, yeah. IG said there and other government officials there, yeah. So we can't look here. When I listen, though, I don't clap it. We can't look here for make sure say they when are the landowners and they get the land. For make sure say they can occupy the land back and then get up. We as a government to get the responsibility to make sure say the community here so they're safe. For the judiciary because of the property list, yeah? Yes, sir. If we don't make mistakes in the past, we can still correct them, yeah? Yes, they today now also with the one when I get this land, when the chief justice of Sierra Leone, yeah? Yes, the police they can make sure say he's secured. Mr. Say we now also we are coming here, Mr. Say secure and the other people, yeah? Yes, so now for the beginning prepare on ourselves psychologically, we begin to get a rethink that this land they are not who get on, the one that will get on, they want the land. They will go for find time for make sure so we can they take control of the land. Oh, they understand that. Well, it's having the court system as well. All over this country, yeah. They always head them. And they are with a 90 maps. Yeah? I don't can have it. They don't can't take a land. This land here, this entire Ballot Park in land, they belong to the Judiciary of Sierra Leone. So anybody within ASU, whoever who don't give you, whether you get paper or not, to illegal. Because this land here, the Judiciary get up. So, if the ministry been give you, not the ministry been give you enough for the year. Yeah? They don't can't take a land. And I don't pray a can't today for like can't take in land, in the landlord now. So you waiting now, then people have to get back to the other side of it. Okay. They not go one day bring machika. Then they tell you again, then they nobody notice now again. When I tell everybody waiting now. Then they nobody notice again now. Yeah? Courts, Nangaya. The law say Nangaya. And then now. So anytime they come. So the best way they do now, let people vehicle here, let them not bring bulldozer car, they begin haste and they put up part of the other one and they haste and they put up part of the other one to wait inside with himself. Tomorrow you go get the wahala. Yeah? So I can't tell you now so they formally. So tell everybody we get vehicle there as to let them come begin pull them. They can't anytime they can't take the land. Yeah?
May I say something?
Okay, before I call me colleague inside.
Yeah.
This is not the law man them. That Ballot Park day, sometimes people don't know say Ballot Park day. Ballot Park Day towards that New Englandville area, right? Like say they go outside Jomo Kenyatta. Now be pristine area. Now be area where them in the bill host them for them judges them. Then they in comfort. But they don't get encroachment. So what you know I show this video, now for sure the prompt action and the different approach we can to land grabbing. Because the minister go there with the chief justice, he go to police, then go for warn the people them. And tell them who they get the land and say anybody will encroach on that land, they do at your risk. So why this kind of system not available for everybody? So that I left Mr. Shillon for comment on that because this is now one of the people that where the president say want to talk to. So if they can secure their own interest, yeah, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mengot. It's to me, it's very disturbing for Yeri, the minister, to say what he say. Because first and foremost, he's just outright wrong. Because here he is conveying a piece of land, contrary to which I just said, legally, you cannot convey by word of mouth. You're saying that the judiciary. The judiciary is not an entity, it's a government department. Or, that land there, if not before judges and be the build houses, the judges are not individually own the houses. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mengo. So this is not like government quarter, not land where government be owned within the build houses for judges, if that was the case. But they not give the fact that judges then stayed it, just like I will get reservations all over the country, that where judges used to stay, where doctors used to stay, where provincial commissioners used to stay, that not necessarily translate into ownership. Okay, so when you bring the Chief Justice, you give verbal address to the people. I mean, imagine that these people are unrepresented. This is the unfairness about the whole thing. Because if you get Mr. Moyowo, Bokari, when a poor man, how is he going to dispute or take issue with the minister? We get the Chief Justice, you get the minister, you get the Chief of Police to tell the man, say, get out, which is illegal. By law, you can't tell him get out. Get some kind of order, some paper, some rights to the property. So, and Minister Senesi is just dead wrong. Is wrong by law, and I am disappointed at the then Chief Justice standing there listening to that rubbish day, and even say no, that's not the right way. And what title? How does the minister or the Chief Justice end up owning a land? Who I buy them from? Who I get them? When you're on paper, just because you're a Chief Justice enough, you're not supposed to present the right of ownership. So you see, this is wrong, and it bothers me because now undue advantage of the poor people. Then Senesi say another thing, which is to me is lawless. You cannot come there and tell the people and say, so we not gonna get no notice again. Next time we just kind of begin bulldoze. Tennessee never forget the power for order the bulldozing of anybody in property. If the person is still there, if one maintain civility in our society, the government for go to court, get an order. And not only because when a government are going to court, and I get for show proof, then for be held to a certain level of proof. For said someone is encroaching, someone that's squatting at the place they were not to get them, and this is not government land, and with the try for clear them, government can just claim ownership of land or the power, to evict people then from a certain piece of land because government says so. If we want to be civil, if we want to be law and orderly. But now, what the display was display so, that bothers partly on trying to be nice. The minister is ill-advised. They don't advise them properly how the law works. Two, the former Chief Justice who was standing there, who ought to have been ashamed of himself, standing there unduly misusing the law for take property to your own. And what did the minister mean by now the judiciary get here? What do you mean by the judiciary and then get there? It sounds like when you say a police barracks. Now the police get their using in phrase, but no police officer will live in any quarter own that piece of property there, is there for a period of time during the service, whatever the requirements are. So you cannot say, oh, you see this land, now police the owner. They're not owner. Now the government owner. And then sometimes we even need to go back and see how did the government acquire some of their land there. Did they just take them from the people? I can give you instances like in Aberdeen, where we get police barracks. That's where I'm from. Shaka Stephen takes a lot of people in land and not pay them for that. So if people see a government that is fair, that come back and begin to forget the land, why should anyone or a minister say, oh, you not get right for claim a land was intended and organ and their family over 200 years? President Stephen did that in Aberdeen, the police barracks there. Let the government show paper how them pay, who that them pay for their land in there. Let them show who's a national dance troupe there in Aberdeen, or who's they use for there. Our government buy them. Let them show how the whole police, how the whole army feel now Aberdeen back of Mamioko. How government ever owned it. They never bought these things from the local people, and they just take them for benefit the few people at the top. So people need to understand. But even if that's the case, Minister Senesi, now wrong way they adjudicate the matter. Because what they do, it doesn't scare the people then. And last but not least, you get the legal profession. These people should be represented. In fact, when you talk about due process requires that these people be given, the people in which they claim ownership, be given the right to explain, how they own it. But that's you can't tell and say, get out, or we can't begin for bulldoze, which is what we see recently. So I think that is wrong. I think the minister is wrong. By their own law now, this is not a mere own concept of what the law is. I'm telling you people what the law is. And any lawyer would do property law, estate law in Australia would disagree with me. Like I always say, come at the show, let the world discuss them, because we save one for land, something. But I'm telling you people what I know about estate and real estate law. A minister not get no power by Australian law for can't just begin order people then by word of mouth and then forget out. And then you say the judiciary. I don't think the judiciary ever owned any land in Australia. I like Minister Senesi show who stand judiciary buy. The judiciary buy land from whom? I challenge them on that. So I will stop on that because there are a few things there. And besides, the Chief Justice in presence there is a clear, flagrant conflict of interest. I just don't understand why would the misuse with education and with profession the way it's being used or misused. And I hear the same thing has happened up country, Bo, Kenema, all these places. People have taken over the reservations, then the housing, then the asif and then get them. I get a caller, or we get a caller. Let me hear what we call again for say, and we'll move on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yeah, my name is Binta Filia. They call from London. What you want to talk so? The thing they echo. I don't know what happened. The phone they.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why.
Just continue.
We get a control room. Would they hear you clearly? I don't know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what can happen? Me say don't be a victim for this problem, this land problem. I buy 5-ton lots na McDonald's na by how they call it again, safe. Waterloo.
No, just saying that. Okay. At the peninsula. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I buy the 5-ton lots to one man who I know when Mr. Jallo, but na Mr. Gassama get the land, but na in the power of Anthony for the land. While I buy the land, I find a licensed surveyor. Now I go survey the place. He tell me say the land see fight the problem no day. Now I say la buy am. Now I buy am, I pay for am. Why I don't pay for am? Now they make all documents. But we will be ready for make the document. How can realize say no to Mr. Jallo get and Mr. Gassama. So we tell Mr. Gassama, Mr. Jallo say let Mr. Gassama sign the papers. He signed the papers. We don't sign the paper, we pay tax, we pay everything. Could you believe say now we put pillar there, 40 pillar right around the 5-ton lot. Now in them break somebody enter into the land, he break the pillar them, he start for building. And me no know self now can where. What can where? Now we call solicitor for say waiting happy, we'll go first police. The police then come, write letter, then tell them, say, let all man accommodate. Anybody who knows, say, I get the land, they come with paper. We come with we own paper. The people that will begin building, they not come with paper. So Mr. Jallo take the matter na court. Where he take the matter na court, now court give injunction. Then people here, then go begin make the bricks them, then begin build bricks, then they say now they begin build na the house, but always put injunction for let them stop. They still continue for build right now as I speak so. Then don't build house. They say there the law they say as long as you build house, if you go to court, they know they break the house, you go get the advantage. And one can find out say who that can buy this house. Me, what me can understand, our minister, first then tell me, say, na a minister, now I don't send somebody for go take that land in me hand. The other one back tell me, say, na na the Speaker of the House when a presently na in give them boboya the right for go bill na that place dey. So are they in a confuse me? I don't know which one pan themselves do am, but what don't care and go na court state today, then they are join. They don't bill na the house. They don't bill na the they don't bill us na the land. Sorry. So now me sit down, I don't spend so much money pan there, and now I don't know side for go for me. I don't know what for do anymore. Honest. As is now the reason this way the diaspora and they know they go invest na Sierra Leone. Because if it's somebody grab go buy land, you want bill, you go employ 2-3 people where they can't do that. But the thing when they do is so when they read and they're not afraid for go put money in them places. Then these are the problem. I want they talk about this, it just trigger me for say yes. This particular thing don't happen to me. Me na a real victim of what you know they talk so. And just imagine the money I don't spend for buy the land, the money I don't spend for building pillar, the money I don't pay tax, the money. Look, I get the full documents now, full documents where come out from lands registered where you go check and I mean name there, but they don't take land. The law not there for we, the law not they protect we. This is the problem. Now this not my why inform now. I wish no more than go do something where go bring a law. We go stop this thing where they happen so. But then go able to do because when Madam Bio say they talk to the head man, then that they cannot do. And you know, it not do for solve this problem. This is not a big problem where they in Sierra Leone. Boku people and they cry for their land. Where they just they grab another hand. Nothing they commodity. Because the country lawless. Nobody know the way they protect the property of the Sierra Leone'S there. You understand? And they see foreigner then they come. Then they sell give them 200, 300 acre land. Then they protect them. But we the Sierra Leone'S, they don't protect the property there, which is very sad. You know, any government is supposed to protect the Sierra Leone'S and protect them property. They, look, Gambia, if you buy land, nobody not crazy for go just take the land like that because they can't know them way they work. You know, the judges, they know they do that. Because when they know that they don't connive all that money. Me, the first time I want to take lawyer, they ask me, you know, you know, SLPP, you get for the, if you're not to SLPP, well, you know, they're not the system. Oh. Just imagine, so I was told, I was shocked for hearing that. We say now, if me not to SLPP, I not forget a good lawyer, I not go able, my case not go pass there, I not go be able to win the case. And for BSLPP, if I not BSLPP, they're not going to win me case for me in a court. Then they ask me, some people even they ask me, you get for know the Chief Justice, so I get forget Chief Justice for let me win case by all me rights. You know, these are the problems. The whole country corrupt. Because if the justice system self-able protect you, they're self-corrupt. So how they go protect you and protect your land? Now a sad situation, a very painful one too. Thank you, God bless you now.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Let me see if me co-host want to say anything before me say anything.
No, let's see if we get any other more callers there on the line up. Then I can let people respond.
Now, well, let me say something. The thing is, this is the thing. If we want to run a country well, first of all, you cannot even in a. I don't care what system of government you get, whether or not communism, socialism, democracy, totalitarianism, you know, oligarchy, you name it. There has to be laws enforced and followed. This misuse, extraordinary use of power is just absolutely outrageous. Like what the woman explained so, there are instances that has become the pattern. Because, like I say, there is no reason when there is a land dispute, like this situation we described so with Mr. Gassama being the actual owner of the land, and Mr. Jallo will give power of attorney for sell the land for him. And again, I don't want to get into too much detail, Again, even when you give power of attorney on a land or a house, the power of attorney not for be the standard power of attorney where you give just ordinarily. It will be more spelled out, more specific to the property where you begin that power there for sale. So here it looked like Mr. Diallo acting on the power where Mr. Gassama Giam take the appropriate action. Now, there are remedies to all in here. But if you allow a minister who knowingly circumvent the law, misuse the law, misusing power, for take somebody in property, you know, buy them. The law says you can buy it. You can go talk to the person. If you want to sell them, fine. If you don't want to sell them, that's just it. But you are saying now, you're a minister, you like a certain location, regardless of who owns it, you're going to build there. The way you remedy that situation there, then we'll go back, like I'm glad that the president say in they talk to the judges. The judges are a big problem. They are a big problem. Because the judges, this land law not that complicated. The matter of title, you know, registration, you know, and to some extent credibility where there are no existing and documentation for backup the allegation of wrongdoing or of ownership. But these are not complex cases at all. So no land law for take months in court if we are serious. This is where the educated people are letting down the ordinary people. If we want to eradicate that, and if Parliament want to pass laws, there should be penalties. Like this minister, this woman talked about, if it turns out that Naina is somebody behind that, he should be sued. There should be civil penalty financially or for custom, and they should be exposed. They should be embarrassed. Here you get a situation where Minister Senesi with Chief Justice, they go claim land where I guarantee you, if you check down the Chief Justice entitled to whatever property they claim that I already, but we know some of who are coming out Western area, we know better. You know, the Judiciary not own land. You know, Babatunde Edwards, who was the Chief Justice at that time, I guarantee you, you know, no own no land in that location the way they claim. And if he did, he should have had a lawyer, despite the fact that he's a Chief Justice. He cannot just go there because just the appearance of the Chief Justice being there, just the appearance of the Chief of Police, just the appearance of the minister, that alone is sufficient evidence to show that when they use what we call coercive powers for take somebody in property from them without going to court. And the law should be, even if the judiciary own the land, they should be held to the same standard of proof to show ownership. But what will they do? Will they try for shortcut the system? Parliament will pass law what they not intend for follow, but they expect the rest of the country to follow. You get police chief justice. You know, they act in concert for go take people in land. And then they in law enforcement. I mean, the president getting hands full. I feel pity for him. But unless he put his foot down and embarrass or disgrace some of them people here, where they engage in then deceptive practices there, it will never stop. Okay? And the poor people, they need protection. They need protection. It's not fair because you get power, you get connection, you could take somebody in property. You know, there are stories upon stories upon stories where I don't want to waste time on, but where didn't hear they happen. I don't care, for example, a community land, over them they play ball. People in cancel market day. 98 man and somebody in the community didn't just take them give one Lebanese guy for like below stay. Where they about them protest, they bring police for can enforce undue advantage over the Boboden. Community land. Would I give the old 8 man and that part? So this is something we did from top to bottom, where we get for try for stop, you know. So I'm just trying to say all of them in there because it will never stop. unless the president will hear and come from the mouth of the president and hold the minister accountable, and the minister no need for the go scare people them with camera and the show of force. The minister just need for execute the law. Simple. Enforce the law and get and get the court for play a major role here. And the president, if he wants to solve that problem, they get a requirement. No land dispute should take more than 6 months in court. No land. If it take more than 6 court, the judge who's handling that case should be held to account. Why has it taken so long? They forget certain rules. Now postpone the case. Them no 2 strikes. Go to court first time. The judge get an understanding of who is who, what the issues are, and set the case for a hearing. The next time, everybody come prepared and get it over with. It's good for everybody, And then even you might go as far as court costs, because if somebody who is not to get a land, he get that person there for go get lawyer and wait and spend money, he should pay that person there back. If it's so flagrant that he should have known or he knew he had no entitlement to that piece of property there. Unless there is that enforcement and penalty to be paid, we are just joking. So if I were an advisor to the president, this is not a complicated thing. Even because sometimes, just give you minister instruction. This is the way I want things to be, because at the end of the day, the president is a reflector, give you minister instruction, give you permanent secretary instruction. And if they choose to disobey, they should be punished. So let me go back to my co-host and let me see what you get for say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shillon. You don't go through a lot because, again, I come back to the president instead. This is not a way to run a country. Now the president don't talk about. This is not a way to run a country. You don't name people them. You don't name with the headman them. We don't deal with the headman them. How we for deal with the headman issue? It's very simple. You don't name the judiciary as well. We don't see an example of the judiciary. The next, now the parliamentarian them, I will come to. Because land issue they affect different people and different society and a different approach with the use. Number one, then we have parliament. Now bring this to Fambulen. Remember, we get, unfortunately, my comes to the MP Honorable Gevao, we lost his son recently. And any Gevao na a case where been one time say parliament corrupt. They ask him for charge him for contempt of parliament. Now the president don't can openly say parliamentarian they sell land. With the opening to the parliamentarian they say now. In a second answer, because if you no can deny or refute what the president they say, we all go believe saying that the parliamentarian and they sell land. Because as so and so, the panel say that. And according to the constitution, the president is one of he's a member of parliament. That said, because this way we look at different issues them out in the handle case differently. We'll get another case where involve parliament. Recently, parliament called the chief of defense staff, where now the big alleged on army, because reports been come out say land will belong to services secondary school, when at the military secondary school, the chief of defense staff, they order demolition of some of the building for that school day, and it is alleged that you want to give man for do business. So we people are waiting at that host up the hill at parliament, they hear about that. So then summon the chief of defense staff for let appear before parliament. And listen, I want let you Let me comment on that because we get the letter. The letter was from the acting clerk of parliament to the chief of defense staff, and it was copied to the speaker, deputy speaker, the leader of the house, minister of basic and secondary education. Now, other big alleged them. So, yes, you get minister of defense, secretary to the president, chairman parliamentary committee on defense, chairman parliamentary committee on basic and secondary education, and the chairman parliamentary committee on lands. So this is the acting chief, the clerk of parliament. And I shall say he been do that on the instruction of the speaker, because when they call the chief of defense staff, then call and like explain that they say no. You don't get no rights for broke that building there when a services secondary school. Remember, services secondary school, now the military then school. Now their own secondary school. And you go there within a land area which is owned by the military. But then the bigger regional decides say he want part of the land in there. Okay, me I go talk about parallel. So when they go parliament, they say the committee say then put an injunction. Mr. Shillon,
Yes, sir.
listen to this. Yeah? Because parliament, according to the authority, they make an injunction, say, this man, the chief of defense, not for do anything until parliament look into that issue. Waiting at the issue. They will bring a hybrid committee members from the Parliamentary Committee of Defense and Parliamentary Committee of Basic and Secondary Education and Parliamentary Lands and Country Planning Committee, which was something we suggested the last time in this program. So some of the issues are, because they're multidimensional, Parliament get for set committee for look at that. So enough for do anything until then they happen. But let's give another case, a parallel case, because it look like we country now selective justice. Because some of them parliamentarians are already there, but could have left them in a parliament during the 5th parliament, where the government of the day, under the former government, right, a 4th parliament, for instance, then go broke cathedral school. Then broke cathedral school for bill markets. Parliament not put much though. They not say nothing. This was an iconic building. A building where Boku people and they were not educated to cathedral school. I'm not going to read too much into it. My question is, why are parliamentarians, they pick and choose issue the way that they deal with? Because all them complaints here with land ministry. We get a committee where they're in charge to oversee the activities of the Ministry of Lands as a housing and country planning as they call it now. Almost they don't call them for letting them explain them policy, then demolition policy, and even stop them for do any demolition. Not just selective. They know when they do them, but then they do them when it suits them. This is not right, because the parliamentarians them, now them they represent two people them. And what you want for one for see justice for all. So Parliament they deal with this issue. Somebody saying that Saloon government does not have any overview of those reservations around Saloon. And most of them so-called government quarters are occupied by those who have lived there for decades. I should say this person they talk about that Belia. reservation we mentioned. It all comes back to, I'll give you an example. Let's do things straight. The most galling part of the land grabbing saga in Sierra Leone is the immoral behavior of the judges who routinely connive with criminal persons of their own selves, deprive citizens genuine of their land. Right now, a female judge grabbing someone's land using a position to bully a bona fide owner of the land. Yes, lots of cases. Ugwanyeri, some of the evidence here now for the past. The past say want to talk to the judges then. Waiting the judges then for do. For me, before I get me colleague for comments, one of the simple things I get for do, and I will give example. Yes, another comment say, in my instance where a judgment is to be passed due to my land dispute, a judge didn't show up in court because of rain. So rain can't judge no show.
Yeah.
I get the way people and they put them here. But now look at the whole thing of Salon. I get a friend who been left England, he go work out at the previous government. Then try for digitize the land registration system. You can do that by GPS. For instance, Sierra Leone was one of the first countries who begin get house address, just like Britain. Although that ain't not there again. But now we get law where they go to Parliament, when at the regional planning law where they talk about devolve power to local government for law begin get host number them. But in Kenya, I worked in Kenya, one of the provinces them, the Northwest province, the province where border Somalia, from the provincial headquarters, Garissa, to Mandera, it's about 1,000 kilometers. Sierra end to end, you know that from Freetown to Koindu, I don't think say it more than 800 kilometers. But in that country of Kenya, they've done a survey, a GPS survey, and what do people use to identify as address is plot numbers for land. Now, plot number. So each land should be digitized. You get a plot number, and waiting for the way you want to buy land. Before you buy the land, whoever they sell the land to you, you get for put on a newspaper. Then for make them compulsory for 1 month. Say this land is up for sale. If anybody get claim to that land, they let them come forward before transaction. So first we need digitization. Second, we need processes and procedures. Thirdly, we need for train with judges them. And even some of these judges could be reprimanded for unnecessary delay, land disputes, or for giving unfair disadvantage due to pecuniary interest. I rest my case there, and then I want to comment, though they look at another area of land, when a land for do with industrial land, where we will see a positive step being taken by Sierra Leonean for support community the way they don't disadvantage for land ownership. Over to you, sir, for comment on this issue of parliament and also some of the comments the way people do not make one read out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. Now, if the control room go put back that letter on the screen, where Parliament sent to the Chief of Defense Staff for appeal, there is a line where catch me eye, where I just want respond or repeat. If we could make them more legible, I think that the last part will say, accordingly, by the authority of this communication, you are respectfully requested to stay all intended actions related to the demolition until the said committee concludes their inquiry and the House considers their report. Well, first of all, I get slight disagreement with the language where they use in that paragraph there, because Parliament should not be respectfully requesting. This is the situation where Parliament should demand the appearance or the halting of the demolition or any attempt to do so. They're not for request, Because you see, even technically, if it's a request, the person who's being prohibited from acting could continue doing what he's doing because he's not ordered to. You see, he's not ordered to. It's a request. One could answer a request either way. So I think the letter is wrongly written, forget the legal meaning where it's supposed to forget. This letter where Parliament said to this Chief of Defense Staff, it should not have said nothing about respectfully requesting, none of that. It should have said, you are being ordered or you are ordered. That's what Parliament should do. Having said that, I am not in favor of Parliament having injunctive power. That's not power way for be relegated to the courts. Who forgets on uniformity. Parliament for be able for allow lawyers them for going to court, because like Mr. Mengot said, otherwise we see some selectivity here. When a land involving poor people who have no clout, have no say, have no connection, then almost everything goes. Then can bulldoze them place, then go do this, then can take them from there. But when a land will involve connected persons, then all of a sudden, Parliament they give injunction, and usually injunctions now the court they award them thing. So I always say, no ministry should have the power to demolish or destroy or take away or deprive anyone of real or personal property without a court order. It can't be so. Then you look at Minister Senesi now. If you extend Minister Senesi in your logic of then judicial ownership of land to its logical conclusion, if you accept Senesi in declaration that the land that area there where the video be show that the judiciary get up. So by extension, now the judges they own them. Well, I'm not so sure if the judiciary only entail judges, but I cannot see how government property where a judge stayed becomes the property of the judge. But if you extend in logic about ownership of the land by the judges, then the service secondary school property where this Chief of Defense Staff they try to forget. Well, you can use the same logic. Say, now military property this. So therefore, now the Chief of Defense Staff get them. So he can take any piece of land and apply them or utilize them in whatever way you feel. But you see, so when you begin to interpret the law that way, you create a problem. The Chief of Defense Staff knows very well. He not get the authority for begin take people land and begin for apportion them. Now government land. So he's a Chief of Defense Staff, but get no authority for begin apportion government property and try for demolish. So I think this thing, therefore, try for resolve. Parliament need for resolve this issue once and for all. The power to demolish property or seize or take away should be exclusively in the hands of the courts. That don't then say we give the court free pass because we corrupt judges, but we get for streamline the process to make it make sense. So I'm simply saying this whole thing about the way things go on in Sierra Leone, we'll get for go back to the root cause and then for try for implement some foundational safeguards will go help we for avoiding things here, because too many people have become victim of them practices there. Now somebody say there's a female judge where they try to take somebody in land. Well, the president now getting yes open. I think when I try to get the president in office, name the judge, notify the president in office, and this is where I think the press also is being derelict, because the press also they owe a duty to the country, not to for us announce positive things then. So I strongly encourage the people and when they talk about this judge where they try to take people land, therefore let the press know about the dispute where they go on, put the judge in name there, and get a lawyer, get lawyers them, we really get the fortitude for go to court, for challenging the judge in right to owning any such property, you know? And so to me, unless we do that, we can't just say, oh, now judge put your hand there for we'll get for left and so. Because if they are part of the problem and don't want to be part of the solution, they should be exposed. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere. You know, like Mr. Mengo read this this comment by Mr. Telu about the most galling part of it, you know, that this about this land grabbing saga in Sierra Leone is the immoral behavior of the judges, and then they get the absolute power. So I hope say the court. Mr. Mengot referred to Cathedral School. I went to Cathedral School in the 50s, in the early 50s. Oh yeah, I go Cathedral School Standard 1 and Standard 2 before I go up country. So now you get a previous government just take the land. These guys, I don't know whether they just think say to become a lawyer or to become a minister or to become a judge means behavior that are so contemptuous of the people should be accepted. You know, there should be guidelines. There should be ethical guidelines. So when we talk about this profession and all this kind of thing, it's one thing to get a degree. Now, some of them think they would even hear about Speaker of the House being involved in that kind of a thing here. And then when a member of the House accuses Parliament of being corrupt, you know, then suppress them to the point of him backing down. So we really, if we love our country, and for some of we just try to say, let us make it a level playing ground. These positions of judgeship, you know, and ministers and all of that are not being given to people so they can take from people, you know, they can suppress people in rights. What use is the Constitution if all that matters is just, you know, power? The whole thing, as I just said before, a constitution is meant not to regulate the activities of the people, is to regulate the activities of government, to guard against the excesses of government. I've said that all the time. People's conduct and behavior and activities are governed by acts of parliament, and they then pass all the acts, or generally you could say statutory laws, and they govern we, the ordinary people. You know, how to behave, how to do this, what you know for do that, but not the constitutional issues. And in the Constitution, now the rights then what we get, they put some restraint on the government, how not for abuse their rights. Then they like go to see the minister and the chief justice engaging by telling people them get away, not to get a land there. Next time there is not going to be any notice. Due process requires notice. Due process requires that. And you get a judge, chief justice of all people, who for no better. He stood there listening to the minister saying that, and I like let somebody ask Babatunde Edwards, whatever line he claims if he get here, how we get him. And he's welcome to come on this show, which I know he will not, but he's welcome to come here and defend himself if he wants. So back to you, Mr. Mengot.
Okay, I shall say we don't do a lot of this land issue, but as we look at the topic today, this is a trendy topic. We say land, power, and the ballot. Sierra Leone social media buzz on governance and electoral reform. Now, as we begin, the past said this is not a way for run the country. He called people away want to talk to. But they are the one the way they are with the one the way they talking at the parent, yes. Not to land issue no more one let talk to we about one let talk to we about governance issue. So part 2 of this program, waiting at this governance issue. You remember say the Minister of Information been tell we say then they do town hall meeting. First na moyamba them in go. We then go talk about that election system. So then they consult whether we for use first past the post or PR system. Then the minister hype you up. He say, pa they go kenema. Pa they go talk about this system. And pa say, he want to tell we what they do for make sure say Sierra Leone become a place where rule of law is observed. But one issue don't come what means say we for rub much panaya. Because why we for rub much pan this issue? Because now the two political parties them, now we don't see the SLPP party, then they do the election them, we get them flag bearer, and all the eye now they pan this 2028 election. But they're not even correct the system. And one of the things that will cause problem, we make them get the tripartite. Now, who that them for take over this election? So I don't know if we control room, if they can put up a letter which was dated June, yes. Now, why I bring this up? June 2025, because it's very current, you know, say the APC people are not in the parliament. And they may mention now some of the news broadcasts where they mention his appointment of Mr. Alex Pat Labib Safar as Electoral Commissioner, Eastern Region, where the letter say, I hereby write to inform you that His Excellency the President Madabio has ordered the appointment of Mr. Alex Habib Laba Safar as Electoral Commissioner, Eastern Region. And then by copy of this letter, there be several people there. And it come back to issue when I be involved with next election then. So if you look at it and copy the chairman of the Chief Electoral Commissioner, the Clerk of Parliament, the Executive Secretary Public, Parties Regulation Commission, Alliance Democratic Party, Citizens Democratic, all the party them. Now, I want to discuss issues them with a recommendation because it seems as if the government, not the power, the area, but this same report, we get 3 recommendations that will deal with this issue. I will start with the first one, when I recommendation 35 of the report. So let's discuss them. Now go live with recommendation 35, 36, and 37. Let's start with recommendation 35. What he say? He say government for amend section. Let's start with 34. It is proposed to amend section 43 and 87 of the Constitution. Then for the fixed parliamentary election. But for this one, recommendation 35 say let it amend section 2, subparagraph 3 of the Public Elections Act for require a professional qualification and experience in governance and public management for Electoral Commissioner in addition. You know, so what did they say now? Then they say before the president, because the law does not state how president for consult. Right? So if we get these people then, the president is still appoint, and he appoints through information. So, and you don't send them to parliament for this new electoral commissioner. And the parties them, they were just copied on a letter after the appointment. Then we all know say we go parliament and parliament will recommend. So I'll let you rub much on this now. What do you think about that? This idea of consultation, right? And then say another for look, electoral commissioner, they forget particular qualification. And they also suggest, say, we forget a body. Wherefore, it is recommended then at the recommendation 36 to amend section 32(3) of the Constitution of the Public Elections Act and 34 of the Constitution to provide for a search and nominating committee. So in other words, not a parliament no more or president no more for just see somebody, he pick and say, you know, Electoral Commissioner. Forget, first, he get for meet that qualification criteria in terms of education and experience. Secondly, you get to get a body. We for look at least about 3 people them who go to the president, and the president appoint one and submit that name to parliament. So if we still go as business as usual, what you see saying are the pitfalls, but some of them see how they go ahead. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, well, as first of all, this phrase, I think, is the usual usage of the phrase, consultation with the president, consultation with this. They need, because the law, as I understand the law to be, we always must try for avoid multiple understanding of the law, and we also try for avoid vagueness in any legislation that is passed. So what happens when we begin to use phrases like in consultation with, there has to be a meaning of what in consultation with is I don't even want to go into detail what in consultation with could mean. But we keep doing that. And one of the problems we'll get in Sierra Leone is it still seems there is this basic lack of understanding. And I always tell people, I want people to understand, I am not even a constitutional lawyer. It's just the thing we learn about constitution in law school and what I read. By no stretch of the imagination am I even claiming to be an expert in constitutional law, because it's a very involved field. That's why I insist that this is nothing to, because if this is the piece of document where all we hopes and aspiration anchored on, we cannot treat it as lightly as we do. But you can say there are many things about constitutional law that we country still has not come to grips with, because they still not get the basics. The profession itself is still struggling with the concept of constitutional law. And that is really creating a very serious problem. That's why I've recommended that sometimes if the lawyers can make more challenges, I realize there is no trust in the court system. But that's all we have now. At some point, things will get better, because things, no matter how bad it goes down, it will reach the end, and it will plateau, and it will begin to go upwards. So we can't forget our hope there, because the hope cannot be hopelessness. The hope has to be that at some point things will turn around. So the court, no matter how bad it is, that's what we have. So if you say you're not going to court, look at what we're getting. People are misusing power. They're just using raw force of their position for take things and deprive others. So this recommendation with Mr. Mengo to talk about, so to me, the process, this is like, number one, if we want to give credibility or credence to we elections, we'll get to appoint people of integrity, both as commissioners and people who belong to the commission. So what do? You try to look around, because there are reputable people in the country and there are reputable people abroad. Everything doesn't have to be just focused on those who live there, because there are lots and lots of us. We love with passion the country and wish the country well. So I think then they do the country a serious harm when then they look just within a close knit of people, a close net of people now within the bounds or boundary of Sierra Leone. So if we want for give good reputation to we, if we want to give good reputation to people, then, to we country and we electoral process, we have to start doing the right thing and taking the first step, not to try for repeats. Because no matter how we look at things, the 2023 election was not something we can be proud of. Because when all international communities are not agree for back that, something is wrong. You know, I don't know if that's how we want for repeat that can act again. So the trend not for be how for bully or force your way to power. The trend for be let it not happen again. And the way you do that is by having people of integrity to then commissions there. Electoral Commission. For example, I remember where lawyer Charles Magai challenged the qualification of Mr. Mohammed Kone, you know, the Chief Electoral Commissioner, that he did not possess the requisite qualification, and not to be complicated qualifications at all. But it was clear, the evidence was clear that he did not, and still we ignored the law, you know, we set it aside and just move on, and it became just the guy. So if we make laws that we have no intention of complying with, it's a dangerous precedent. We can't do that. When we make laws, we would make them. Parliamentarians, and I want to be the guardian of the law and make sure say we not. In fact, that's why in most countries, Canada, Australia, if you're not a big shot, policeman stop you. The worst thing you can do now for say, even by inference, for say, oh, I'm a director of this and that has no relevance to you being stopped. If the police stop you for speeding, that's all we should be discussing. If you recognize you as to who you are, downplay the situation. Because the moment you begin to use your position for get away with something, that undue influence. You know, the system should not permit that. Let alone where we so brazenly back home now, would they use that for take property, you know, for deprive people of them freedom. And then we see nothing wrong with that. So my suggestion, and I think too much power, not necessarily this president, I'm not talking about in general. The way the laws were written, too much power is vested in the president. But we can give the president some guidelines, you know, and make sure that whoever, first of all, we have to recommend names of people of integrity. People with integrity who can really do, people can trust them because they get what it takes. Then we for make sure say there are guidelines for the president for follow. You know, I'll give you a good example because now we get a system whereby if and this is at the state level now, if a vacancy becomes open, you know, in the judiciary, in the court system, the local bar association, the local bar, not the state bar association, the rider body, but the local bar, where that vacancy they occur. Let's say if the vacancy occur in a bowl for a magisterial vacancy or high court vacancy, we think say the lawyers are within a bowl. We want that position for fill that vacancy there. They know themselves much more than say if you get the entire legal group from Sierra Leone, lawyers and with the free chunk with the other part Kenema for make recommendation. Let the local bar, the Bow District Bar Association, recommend to the president certain names of reputable people. They will know those people better. But I'm not saying that's a perfect solution. I'm just simply saying there are ways, there are options. But what you see in Sierra Leone, everybody they think the same way. They don't get diversity of ideas. And they know they encourage diversity of ideas. And so this appointment about which and they get the president for do. I think they forgive people them when these names are recommended. One thing they can add to the process is by giving the public some time, 30, 60, 90 days, for write any public comment, for oppose if you don't know anything about that name, say would not recommend for appointments to see which while the investigators do not find out where the president don't know, because the president is go by watching they just the scanty information where they give, the synopsis or does a summary. But so if you give the public the ability for participate, they might say, well, you know that man the way you appoint or that woman the way you appoint, you know, she's this, she's that. The government may know that, the government might not know that. But I think the public can be given an opportunity for comment. So you put out public notice to say the following people have been recommended to the president for appointment. You know, so the public get 90 days, 60 days for sending any comments. Negative comment, then mostly, not a positive comment, because you will get good recommendation. I think that could or should be added to the process. But this thing about just it's almost like it's a certainty that, you know, the president just goes ahead and appoint, people do not get any input into the whole thing. I think it's dangerous. You know. Let me just answer one call, and then I will probably pass it over to Mr. Mengot. Hello, caller. Which name you say the call from?
Yes, now good evening again. It's not for them to the call.
Hello, Mr. Mustafa. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much for the program today again. I miss one of our colleagues. I not seen him for a long time now.
All right.
Well, just the one say the way you talk about that land issue. Make una see, I always talk to the people who they broke the law pass all man na government. But it's okay because na government na the whole power. If not this citizen then so you go see when they go talk, say we will use the full force of the law. You hear any person talk. But now so the full force is not there. You see when you bring another person any disrespect to the provincial people them, gonna come out. You take power, you give them. They all want to get who's na free tongue. Now in the crisis into the land issue. They want to get the best places them for themselves, so they will take down. They go and get power. They will take all the land. They do what they want to do. So this now will just they see they manifest all the time into this land. That make me I don't get mine buy land na free tongue. I don't talk alone. They buy. They don't show me plenty land. They do what alone. I don't buy no one. I don't like it that. And you come back to the point we talk about the Electoral Commission. This is not the reason this way. Even Mr. Kagwe talk here all the time say the people never go immediately and repeal the Public Election Act. Because if they depend on government for implement this tripartite recommendation, now waste of time. Because the tripartite recommendation, they are very hard on our government they retain power fraudulently. So if you say the people are come on power easily for they hold them accountable, no, then they will do all kind of from the time when they don't make that tripartite. You don't pass 1 year, now 1 year don't pass so. Therefore don't implement it by now. That's when they talk. Therefore don't do a lot of things for make sure the next election no get no alala. But government has no interest because waiting at the thing. If they make fair election for the fact say they will come on power is more greater. So therefore, they would continue the old way. Well, so they can't part we then declare we as winner or we call them so no go settle them. That is what is going to continue. Because by now the APs for don't come on a parliament, they for don't come on a parliament, they for don't left in the all men left in the men and tried it on their own. But the fact say they still lead the government, we don't get all which they want, they just want the APs kind of parliament, look like a running of a government, and then continue the bad way. We get bad laws and at the books then. Now the problem is for Salon. The election will take place under a gentleman's agreement. Then the law then bad. When you meet the person way bad, the person way native man, you go use the laws and to for perfection. All of that will be happening at that election. Also be the bill. It will be transparent. The one way you get a polling station, if a day now the one way then say the RR form, they enter them, then pass. Now everything it take almost 2 weeks for declare election. But today you declare election in 2 days and till the result no day. So if APC ready for kind of power, the president just using power. Even right now, so calling in term end, they don't use that tripartite to go. The tripartite is not in law yet, so they will use the old law for appointing the new electoral commissioner. Now the new law I talk about, so when they talk say they for recommend because they talk in civil society, other bodies they were independent from government, that they recommend the 3 people the government choose from. But if first of all, it fall in the law, it's not in the law at all. Now you make the government try for use what they get right now. They appoint the people they want to get for appoint. If the tripartite can now, they don't put the money in them strategic position them. That's not go on the table. They don't think it, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Just very briefly, that's briefly, I just want to make a comment based upon which I just read. And nobody did dispute say the law is what it is. I hope because somebody say we conflate the tripartite thing with constitutional review. I don't think so, because the person said we should be careful not to conflate processes. The constitutional review, in fact, Mr. Mengot would do a better job on that. The constitutional review is in progress. Tripartite report is in implementation process. Simultaneously, these processes are being implemented. So until then, he said the law is the 1991 Constitution. Nobody disputes that. But I don't think that's the issue we're addressing. I think the 1991 Constitution is the law of until it's reviewed. Yes, we agree. But we are commenting on it and we are pointing out some of the flaws of the Constitution and the law. And we are not saying that the president should do otherwise, but we are saying if the president is saying them bodies there, the president must be aware of some of them flaws there in the current law. You know, let me read this other comment. The tripartite recommendations are in advanced stages as we speak. Currently, it's being propagated in the provinces. Well, okay. So we are just saying, otherwise, if we try for pass laws for retain the present government in power, which is what the APC did, and it didn't work out too well for them. I think laws should be passed to withstand the test of time and with the interest of succeeding generations unborn. But what do we do with the type of past laws for just convenience for the current for status or current situation? So we are just saying, nobody's saying the president doesn't have the power to do what he's doing. But the question Mr. Mangot posed was, what else we can suggest? Just give the public some opportunity because the knowledge itself is not only in the hands of those in parliament. There are people in good faith who can also propose certain things when are for the betterment of the country. Now, if it is a matter of coming up with laws or suggestions that is good for a group or a political party, we all can do that. You know, I mean, because nobody wants to. But won't all of us be proud if we are able to change our government in a peaceful process and in a legal way? Won't we be proud? Than for always. Why is it that if I'm running for the presidency, I should not freely go to any part of the country and campaign without fear that I will be hurt, I will be attacked? Isn't it the duty of the government in power to make sure, say, people are protected? The government not for they in the business of instigating political attacks on people. If we want our country to do well, but if we don't want our country to do well, we can continue this detrimental way they behave, without any power, breaks all the laws, and just do as you please until somehow, by accident or by incident, you come under power. But that will put you years and years back. That's why Sierra Leone today, we are not catching up with the progress being made by other countries than Ghana, and many other countries in Africa. And there is no justification for that, because we should be among the top 3 in terms of political progress and everything else. So I'm just saying that if we care about the country, but if we think corruption, or it should be survival of the strongest, so I wouldn't even say the fittest, survival of the strongest, or survival of without get the connection. If that's what we wish for country, that's not what some of us are talking about. But Mr. Mengot, with respect to the conflicting of ideas, the tripartite and this and that, what do you have to say about that? What the person send the comments.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy with the person. He mentioned so many things. Let's start with this first of all. The Tripartite Report, he said it's in progress. The implementation is in progress. Right? He's listening to us. There are 84 recommendations. 84. Let's just deal with the 84. With both sides of the political divide. So the tripartite recommendations are in advanced stages. As to speak currently, is being propagated in the provinces. Why should it only be propagated in the provinces? Out of the 84 recommendations, how many have been implemented now? Secondly, the 2 are together, the constitutional review and the tripartite recommendations. They are hands in gloves, because even the Chief Justice or the Attorney General, let's say the Attorney General, I've listened to him several times. He clearly said 17 of the recommendations in the tripartite report need constitutional amendments. And let me read this back to the gentleman who wrote it. Now go to recommendation 5. And recommendation 35 say, amend section 2, subsection 3 of the public electoral qualification and experience in governments and management for electoral commissioners, in addition to requirement of section 32(4) of the Constitution. Okay, let me go to what is section 32(4) of the Constitution say. He said the commission shall be responsible for the registration of all political parties. For that purpose, may make regulation as to be necessary for the discharge of this. So that particular, if they talk of the public, the PPRC, the Public Parties Regulatory Committee, they even talk about how they appoint who that they in charge, right? This recommendation, why they mentioned so, it talk about amending certain sections of the Constitution. So you cannot implement recommendations in the tripartite report separate from constitutional amendments. 17 of those recommendations on constitutional amendment. Now just give you one way they talk, say they're in progress. Let's look at recommendation 78. When I enter the crucial one, and I go put her in context. Recommendation 78 say there should be a national dialogue on the choice of electoral system to be adopted for parliament and local councils between district proportional representation system and first past the post. Whichever electoral system should ensure that 30% female representation is maintained at all. Let no go further. What did they tell you? It say if you look at the election, now 2 systems we use. For presidential election, we use first past the post. There was nothing like proportional representation, right? For mayoral election and district head selection, we use first past the post. And the Public Elections Act for and district chairman and get run in debate. Remember recently, where Kenema, where one of the leader died. There was this judicial test case, whether in number 2 when I run in mate for automatically fill the position or then for go for another election. So even that alone, that one recommendation, which is first past the post as against proportional representation, we still not settle that. Okay, now look at this appointment where the talk say, president the date to the law. Yes, I'm not against that. But if the people that were responsible, whether their actions or inaction, now lead to issues where make this tripartite report come. Now you don't appoint them. The first Electoral Commissioner has been appointed for 5 years after the election. So if they appoint her in 2023, if you get 5 years office, that means he's in office till 2028. So all the present commissioners then, now they get for do the other election. Right? Then again, if you're going to the same recommendations on the tripartite, it say you're not going to use no other figures for constituency boundary except the decimal census result, where we don't postpone till 2026. So come on, whoever send that message, it's a matter of playing Sally one side. You they tell we say the constitutional process review is going ahead. If they review the constitutions for Sierra Leone'S, how many Sierra Leone'S are involved in the constitutional review? What we were told that the chief, how many Sierra Leone'S, they make law for me, and me no get say on that law. Some of the law, it deal with issues to me as a diaspora, my right to vote, right? And also, if I can be voted for, if I can vote, I can be voted for. The law as it stands, I'm a dual nationality. It does not allow me to contest for an MP. But me picky was born in England, where no one they set foot in a salon. Because you don't get in British nationality by acquisition, it can stand for MP. So even me and me Pekin are discriminate against me. Where you can't to me and me Pekin. So these are the issues we're talking. You know, we talk on one hand, say, oh, constitutional review, they go ahead, not conflate them. Tripartite recommendation, they go ahead. Tripartite recommendation, they go ahead, but 35 ways say, no, look how they appoint commissioner. You don't already appoint commissioner, you say what they did with 1991. Somebody said, can Mr. Shillon please explain how even in the United States, the composition of the Supreme Court can affect interpretation of the Constitution and the laws enacted by the legislation? Then a very good friend, i.e., very interpretation of Roe versus Wade. I think, say, unless you want comment on what I don't say, or you want to respond, the question we need to ask ourselves is this. Are Sierra Leone'S really serious about legal reforms intended to push our country forward? I can say no. We are not serious. We are not serious because if they make law for me, I'm not involved. Right? Even the land reform way they make so. Who don't know the people the way they buy land? Now the people from the diaspora. If president say one talk, not also for one country, how many times they don't seek the opinion of people in the diaspora where they do land law or where they change land law? So now this is not the issue that we talk about. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mengo.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me read this comment first. The first past the post constituency system was abused by the APC, gerrymandering in the north. Otherwise, there will have been no need for PR system. Well, in fact, I will let you answer that. I'm not so sure of this person. You see, we need to get away from this APC SLPP thing. This is what people are not able to get themselves out of that shell or that bubble. You say, well, because, okay, let us say that's what happened. We are still saying it was wrong. So what's the point here? I don't understand what the point that is being made by this person who is sending this comment. The first, the person who just sent this comment said the first pass the post/constituency system. So Mr. Mengot can better address that even than I can. But I'm saying, let's assume or let's agree for the purpose of argument, say, yeah, now APC, now the cause. But that's what we are saying. You are making our point. It did not achieve the intended purpose, but it hurts the country. So we are just simply saying, can't we learn from some of them deficits and move on and try to come up with better laws? So this logic or illogic of people saying, well, now APC be do such and such. It's just like what we talk about this constituency thing. I, for one, oppose. When I heard that APC had added 2 constituencies, and districts to the country, Carrying and Falaba, I felt it was short-sighted. I felt it was wrong. I felt it was not in the best interest of the country. I think it was very shallow thinking. All right. But it doesn't help if SLPP come instead of straightening the error where APC should make. SLPP can say, well, the same mistake where APC make, now we get power. The same abuse of power APC make, we say we abuse power. Well, what kind of system is that? What are we talking about? So then you people are just as incompetent and as useless as APC themselves, if that's the essence of the argument. So we are saying we can see laws that are bad, pass laws that are good for APC, SLPP, DPC, XYZ, it doesn't matter, because we are dealing with the people. So this person, in your point where they make, otherwise there will have been no need for the PR system. I am not sure about that, because I'm not in the historical background and for the PR system. I think Mr. Mengot can give a better explanation than I can on that, why we had the PR system and why good, advantageous for we for continue. I will leave that up to Mr. Mengot. A question came in, but I think we're almost out of time, about the case in the United States of Roe v. Wade. I'll go answer that next time, but in brief, Roe v. Wade was simply the right to an abortion. That law day was passed, I think in 1973, many years ago. We give women the right in the United States to have an abortion. Before then, there were all kinds of laws in different states that a woman would get punished to get an abortion. So for 50 or more years, women had the right. Then recently, with Supreme Court, overturned them, but it was not overturned on the basis of in-depth legal thought. It was politically engineered by some religious zealots in the country, where in a very rare situation, we end up getting with Supreme Court, they overruled themselves. It hardly happened. The law has to be really, really, really bad. So then they put other women there, particularly the black women, in a disadvantageous position, because now if you want to commit an abortion, there are laws where they don't pass all over the country restricting women's right to an abortion, and people, they make it a religious right, and so on and so forth. And we always talk about you can't conflate religion and politics. But in a nutshell, Roe v. Wade had to do with the right of a woman to an abortion, and then the Supreme Court recently overturned it, and it's a big issue. But let me address that next time, because we're almost out of time. Because I want let Mr. Mengot really talk about this issue with this person, say, now APC make the PR system and the uses, whatever the question was. If you can just pose the question, I'll post the question on the screen for we again. So Mr. Mengot, I'll go back to you. Yeah, you can read it and then answer it for us.
The first past the post constituency system was abused by the APC, gerrymandering in the north. Otherwise, there should have been no need for the PR system. Anyway, I don't want to belittle this person. I don't know how old he be, but me can tell and say, from my knowledge, the first time where I know about election in Sierra Leone was just about the time where I just about start secondary school, or about to start secondary school, when at the 1967 general election. And that 1967 general election was, okay, let's read this one. This Mr.
Yeah, my answer to
Shilorian.
that is yes. I think
Okay.
so. Likewise, the APC. Yes, my answer is yes. But go ahead. You can read it.
The 1967 general election, who did we have in power? It was an SLPP government. And if people let me remember, let's go back to history. I don't like to go between party politics. That was the time we had this 32-32. When we get the four independents in. Kutubu Kaisamba, L.M. Briwa, Anthony. Who was the fourth man? I can't. Yeah. We break away from SLPP and become independent. So, first past the post was not an invention by APC. We adopt them from the British system of governance. Even before we get independence, when we had the Slater Constitution in 1958, now from there we don't determine them. So, now erroneous statement that person they make. So what would they say now? Because now I'm going into detail, we'll go into because okay. Now, the problem in Sierra Leone is that it happens in both sides. When they talk about issue, now this doom we are due man no go vex. Just like the one where this person say, Mr. Shilon, they say, if SLPP will get for correct APC mistake, is Mr. Shilon really saying that SLPP should always be expected to correct the egregious mistake of APC? You can turn our case around back.
Exactly.
Is APC also expected to correct the mistakes of SLPP? What if, for instance, 2028, we get an APC government, then they begin do all waiting with the condemn under this APC government, under the present government? Let's think Sierra Leone. Let's forget about the red and the green. My position is, if you're making a constitutional amendment, the constitution is for the people.
It should be for the ages.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, if I be for the ages, not to just town hall meeting. The last caller when they talk say the two been they go together. Moyamba, we did it. Now they didn't go announce say they want split Freetown into two. They want create other constituency. Let's agree, say, well, then go and book parliament, then get majority, then pass them. The law say, for now get the mayor of the new city, that the two cities in Freetown plus Lunge, and the district chairman them, now the new chiefdom them, forget them, and the councillors there, you can forget an election. So whose election you go use? Are you going to use first past the post? Or are you going to use PR system? These are the questions. So let's sort out our constitution. For me, my first recommendation would be to get rid of the Public Elections Act 2022. Let's start by that. Pull them from the law books. Because all the acts they deal with is a PR system. So we cannot still have that law in the books and then talking about the PR versus first past the post. So let's start by that. Just like when the record say, yeah, I'm going to change everything. Let's change everything. Get rid of that act. And let's go into proper review. If we go into constitutional review, we're not going to do some, we're going to say, we want referendum, some na referendum, some go pass into parliamentary majority. It wouldn't work that way. we'll get the same problem. And if they say, let the president continue for use the law them with disadvantaged people them, we all side they complain of, for do what they do, until we change the law, then I'm afraid we're in for a long ride. That's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. We get a lot on our hands. Let's think Sierra Leone. Let's forget about the Red Army or the Green Beret. We will continue on this recommendation, governance reform, the role of parliament, the rights of the president and empowers, and we judges their way. The president himself don't talk, say want to talk to them. We look forward to the president coming and sharing the agenda with we as to what he want to talk to them people there about, not just but land, and let tell we how not to run a country and how he intend for run the country for the next couple of years we get and the legacy we are left. So we thank you very much. I think I can bow out now and over to my colleague for let's get the last word.
Thank you again, Mr. Mengot. Yes, I strongly support the idea, and I want to also encourage the president because he is fully aware of the fact that there is a large group of diasporans who are very, I'm not the only Sierra Leonean lawyer in the United States. There's a bunch of us, some in different fields. Okay, so by no stretch am I trying to push for myself, but I'm just saying in the interest of the country, and besides, we the Sierra Leoneans, there are Africans from other countries who are lawyers here, Canada, England, many of them, Australia, who can make some meaningful contribution. But when I get for seek contribution from we, but a lot of times laws are passed, things are done without regard to our existence abroad. And one basic thing me to still say, to make sure that we are still aware that we exist, we meaning diasporans, give we the right to vote, which is so fundamental. In fact, the ridiculousness of the whole process, I'm sorry to say, going into this, here we are, that's another issue we'll get into with passport being legitimized for sale for 140,000, which, it violates all standards. People can become a Sierra Leonean by paying 140,000 and they not even get any emotional attachment to a country. But that's an issue for another day. There's one other issue where we'll get for talk about, but we'll get for deal with that. Now in this registration or margin of if you SIM card with your NIN number. That is a major thing. We see the Minister of Information to talk about that. We want to address that issue there because we see some problems with it. And again, this is not strictly in the area of the law. We will talk about that next week, hopefully. Until then, because we're almost 10 minutes past with deadline, we hope we will see next week and we'll go come up with some new topic which will be attractive and enjoyable by all. Until then, good night and have a nice evening.